Hi, I'm Neil from Board Game Happy, and thank you very much for watching my review of Bad Company. This is a 1 to 6 player game which has dice allocation, engine building, gang recruitment, running away from the police, completing heists, all types of wonderful things that any criminal mastermind would really enjoy. I really like this game. That's a bit of a spoiler for the end of the review, but I do really like this game. It plays in about 30 minutes and it's just fun the whole way through. So I'll give you a very brief idea. I won't explain all of the mechanisms. I won't explain everything about how it all works, but give you a good idea as how the game plays. And then we'll come back up and I'll tell you what my final thoughts are. Okay, cheers.
Okay, so these are all the components you get in the game. I wanted to give you a good idea of these before I show you how the game actually plays. There are 2 boards, one for moving the meeples around for recruiting new people, one for driving your cars around, getting away from the police. When you do recruit new people, you've got this massive stack here, and you can see there's loads of different people you can recruit. You'll also be able to get loot during the game, and that's here. I'll explain some of this stuff later on. There is also the heists, which you need to complete. There are absolutely tons of these. Obviously, you've got money and task markers. You've obviously got all the cars and meeples, necklaces, the all-important dice, and score markers. And finally, you've got the player boards, which are made up of 2 halves, numbers 8 to 12, and the numbers 2 to 7. There's loads of them in there as well. So let me get the game set up for a 2-player game, and then I'll briefly show you how it plays. Okay, so this is Bad Company set up for 2 players. All players have got their $2 to start off with. They've got 2 open quests or heists, what they're working on, with no task markers currently on them. Start player is given all of the dice, and they roll them. This dice is how far the police car will move this turn. That happens at the end. All of the other dice, the start player can take these and do any combination they like. If you want, you can spend $1 to re-roll any of the dice as many times as you want. You have to keep on paying $1 each time, but you can roll any number of them. But let's say I'm happy with these. I would then allocate them. Now, I could make 2 7s, or I could make a 3 and an 11. If I look at my tasks, I can see what I'm trying to aim for, but I also want money as well, and I'll explain why that is. So let's say I do go for this. I would get $2 because this number 3 is allocated, and I would also get 1 face mask. This face mask here. So I'll take that and I will place it on this heist right here. Now, everyone else, all of the other players, can allocate just one of these dice. So they can either activate the number 11 or the number 3. So everyone's doing this simultaneously. Then once that's been completed, all players can do almost all of these actions at the same time. So this game is really quick. And because everyone is allocating things every single turn, you are never ever missing out. Everyone's just having a go straight away. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend my $4 with $1 change to move my guy to the first recruitment space, which is here. So that cost me $3. I take 3 of these new people and I'm going to upgrade. So either the number 7, the number 8, or the number 5. Let's say I go for the number 5 because he's got a lock and I need a few locks. I will place this number 5 on top of my other number 5. So in future turns, if this number 5 is activated, not only do I get 1 torch, I also get 1 lock as well. So this is a great way that the game changes very quickly. Other players are also doing all of this same time. And then once everyone's finished their goes, either moving their car forward the number of spaces as per the steering wheels, collecting money, spending that money to upgrade, or collecting the tasks. So you would collect on this number 4 here, you get a lock, and then you get a glove here. Putting these tasks on here. Once everyone's done that, you may also find that you can get some of these loot. So for example, if you go past these spaces here, you might get a loot. And these loot, that's 3 points at the end of the game. 2 points. Okay. This one automatically just gives you 1 task completed. So you take one of them and put that down. More points, and so on and so forth. There's loads of different versions in there, so let me just quickly find some more for you. So that one would give you 2 locks, that would give you 2 gloves. That one would allow you to use both sets of dice on someone else's play. Fantastic, that gives you $3. so on and so forth. So once everyone's done that, you check to see if anyone's completed any of their tasks. Let's say this is a few goes later and I have managed to finish this task. So what I do is I tip them away and then I would turn this over and place it in the first space here. Once a player has placed 6 along here, the endgame trigger occurs. This has a special benefit of giving me 5 points at the end of the game if my car is ahead of the police car. Some of them will just give you points, for example that one there. Others may give you loot or special abilities. For example, that one there allows me to upgrade on future turns for $1 less. As I say, that's going to occur. I'm going to finish this. Once everyone's done that, I will take a new one. So let's take a new one. You must always have 2 heists activated at any one time. The dice will be passed over to the other player, who will then roll the dice, and we go again. You keep on playing the game this way, moving your car forward, trying to keep ahead of the police, using the shortcuts if you want, getting the bonuses for moving, jumping around town, recruiting new people, getting more cards, completing heists, getting loot, getting lots of money for that. Once you complete these heists, if you have the most of one of the 4 symbols, so in that example, I have the most paintings, I would get the painting necklace. That would automatically give me $1, and I would put this on any one of my characters. Let's put it on number 5. Each time I activate the number 5, I would get another $1. That necklace can be taken off me by another player when they have more of these symbols than I do. That is the game. You keep on playing until someone's done all 6. You then have one final turn where the police car doesn't move and anyone can allocate the dice however they want. And then you do final scoring. Scoring will be a combination of your completed heists, your loot, having the necklaces, being ahead of the police, how many points you've got from recruiting people. You see this is worth a point. They're all worth points, but let me just say, if, for example, I had this number 10 here, then on a later go I put another number 10 down, I would only score the points that are showing. I wouldn't score the points for the cards underneath. You're also going to get points for the special things on the cards. So, for example, this one would give me 5 points if I'm ahead of the police. If you are behind the police, you lose 3 points. The person with the most points wins the game. So that is basically how you play. Cheers.
So I hope that helped you to understand how the game plays, how quick it is. There is no downtime in this game, so I will start off by saying it's a fantastic game. I really, really enjoy this. Now, the comparisons to Space Base have to be made, and I know there's a lot of fans out there for Space Base, and I used to be one of them, but the game feels a little dry and takes quite a while to get going. I know there's a light speed variant, but even with that, you're still kind of on some of your goes doing very little. Whereas with this game, there is always something to do. Even if you haven't upgraded any of the characters, there's always a little thing to do. Get in a bit of money, complete another task that you might want to do, maybe even complete a whole heist on someone else's go, recruit some people, move away from the police, get some loot. There's always something to do. So this is a super positive game, constant positive feedback. The loop is fantastic. You're always being rewarded. But it really feels like a race. You can watch other people are playing really, really well as well, and they're starting to get ahead of you, so you really need to change the game on the fly. The recruiting is fantastic. Building those taller and taller characters is hilarious. The extra stuff that you can gain when you allocate all the dice to one number and you've got that person massively upgraded is so brilliant. It's got a good solo mode. I actually really like the solo mode, and it's actually quite tough. You've got to stay ahead of the police, and it actually brings the police board much more into focus. In the multiplayer game, you can somewhat ignore the police car. You lose 3 points at the end of the game. You may not get all of the extra bonuses for going ahead, but it doesn't feel that powerful. Whereas in the solo mode, you really need to stay ahead of the police, so it's game over otherwise. It's a shame that some of those functions weren't moved across to the main game, but it's the only real major negative. One other issue could be that you could be building the most perfect engine ever and someone else might just quickly finish off the game, and that could be a little bit frustrating, but it kind of falls down to you. You should be watching what other people are doing as well as not trying to do the perfect game. Now, it is only 30 minutes. You will get through a game really, really quickly. It looks fantastic on the table. There's so many components to come in the game. The rules are really easy to understand. There's some player aids if you need them. I haven't actually had to refer to them really, so that's absolutely fine. Now, it is the luck of the dice. You can re-roll them, but it is the luck of the dice. But there is always something to do on all of the numbers 2 through to 12. So it's not as though a dice roll is going to mean that you don't have anything to do. So I really like Bad Company. I highly recommend it. I hope more people get to play it. I haven't heard it talked about as much as other games, so it's a shame, but obviously there's so many games released all the time. But if you get a chance to play Bad Company, please do. Please let me know what you think in the comments. I appreciate any likes and subscribes. That would be wonderful. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at BoardGameHappy. I'm also on Board Game Arena, NeilBGHappy. If you want to come and say hello sometime, that'd be fantastic. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed my video and I will see you again soon. Okay, thanks. Cheers.